Movies have been around for almost 100 years. Some films have shaped entire generations and affected people's lives greatly. Why is it, though, when you look at Best Picture winners and movies commonly referred to as greats, they're not always the same movies to have made the most money? In this video, we're going to try to formulate the biggest cash cow box office success we possibly can. 1998's The Big Lebowski was an overall box office flop. This didn't stop it from slowly becoming the cult classic it is today, with such events like the annual Lebowski Fest and other occasional screenings. Part of this delayed success, according to David Sutton and Peter Wogan in the book Hollywood Blockbuster, quote, is unusual in that much of its pleasure and popularity comes specifically from quoting it. They also go on to say that the point of the repeated viewings was to learn the movie line for line, a feat in which many fans can do.
Are you employed, Mr. Lebowski?
Wait, let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude. So that's what you call me, you know? That or his dudeness or duder or, El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
This type of cult film eventually does see success, but not for many years after its release, so let's try to avoid that.
Say hello to my little friend! You wanna play rough?
Scarface contains one of the most popular final shootout scenes in all of cinema. With a budget of $25 million, it made a whopping $4.5 million opening weekend. In comparison, Transformers made $70 million opening weekend.
The first rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club.
Fight Club has been called one of the greatest movies of all time, topping at number 10 on IMDb's Top 250. Still watched and quoted to this day, Fight Club's cultural significance is undeniable. With its $63 million budget, it's no wonder that it went on to lose $26 million by 2000.
Andy came to Shawshank Prison in early 1947 for murdering his wife and the fella she was banging.
The Shawshank Redemption is the #1 movie on IMDb's Top 250. 98% of Rotten Tomatoes audiences liked it, and 91% of critics. Of course it made $700,000 opening weekend, despite its budget of $25 million. These films are often cited as some of the greatest films of all time, but they didn't make a lot of money, so no one cares. Let's move on.
You look terrible.
An outlier is The Godfather. Often cited as the greatest movie of all time through countless lists, this movie did make a lot of money.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Being a quote-unquote great movie does not always mean the most money. According to Hollywood Blockbuster, just because a film achieves blockbuster status does not, ipso facto, make it a complex cultural myth. In layman's terms, you don't have to make a great movie to make a lot of money. So what does? Or who does? If you look at AMC's filmsite.org, you can see that 4 of the 5 top box office hits of the 80s were E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Star Wars Episode 6, Star Wars Episode 5, and Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark. And 2 of the highest grossing films of all time are Titanic and Avatar. This means, logically, that to make any money on a movie, Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, or James Cameron need to be involved.
Marvin Levy's office.
Can I speak to Mr. Spielberg, please?
He's not in right now. Could I take a message?
I guess not. Unfortunately, we could not reach Mr. Lucas, Spielberg, or Cameron, but that doesn't mean we can't still formulate a financially successful movie based on what audiences are buying today. We'll now look at the movies that made the most money in the past 16 years. Out of the 16, 10 of them are sequels. 11 are based off books or graphic novels. And 11 of them are rated PG-13. In James Cameron's TED Talk before Avatar, A Curious Boy, he mentions how a lot of his financially successful films, as opposed to the ones that barely broke even, push the envelope of CGI, or computer-generated images. This is important to keep in mind when making a huge blockbuster. Cameron mentions that when he began making documentaries and things that he was truly passionate about, they weren't even remotely close to the financial success of his other films.
I had to, at a certain point, say, what am I doing out here? Why am I doing this? What do I get out of it? We don't make money at these damn shows. You know, we barely break even. There's no fame in it. People sort of think I went away between Titanic and Avatar and was buffing my nails someplace, you know, sitting at the beach. Made all these films, made all these documentary films that, you know, for a very limited audience. So no fame, no glory, no money. What are you doing? You're doing it for the task itself.
Using all the knowledge we just got, we need to follow the steps to formulate the biggest possible cash cow blockbuster hit we can. Step 1. Rating. Rating is very important. To make the most money, your blockbuster should be rated PG-13. Teens make up a lot of the demographics that go to the movies, so making it R would limit your audience and potential financial success. Step 2. Origins. As seen earlier, the most successful films tend to be based on books, and preferably be a sequel. In the book Hollywood Blockbuster, it focuses on 5 different movies in depth, 4 of which were box office successes. Not surprisingly, the only one not based off a book, The Big Lebowski, was a box office flop. Step 3. Plot. A plot should have action and drama, with optional elements of fantasy and science fiction as well. Step 4. Putting it all together. Try not to make the story too abstract as to scare off your audience.
We're dreaming.
Adding CGI effects is always good, too. The perfect cash cow would need violence, explosions, and a big studio name, if not 2, attached to it. It should be easily quotable, quotes that audiences will pick up on the first listen, like,
I'm Groot.
Yeah, you said that.
Popular key elements include wizards, Jedis, pirates, superheroes, aliens, Grinches, talking toys, fast cars, and a whole lot of explosions. All this being said, here is the projected trailer for the most financially successful movie possible.
Cool Spidey outfit. Thanks. Looks uncomfortable. It gets kind of itchy. It rides up in the crotch a little bit, too.